Hello, guys, and welcome to Witches and Wizards Confession Channel. You know what to do already, right? I'm not going to mention it today, but you know what to do. Okay, guys. So I decided to do today's confession a little different because I relate with it. I've come through so many incidents that's just on today's confession, and finally it makes sense today. So guys, if you are from the rural villages, you know the rural areas, the townships, I'm sure you've seen or come across an egg smashed. Let me give you an example about what I know. Um, Growing up, I used to live with my grandmother. So my grandmother lived not far from the river. You know, villages have got rivers here and there. So every time when we would play as kids, we would sometimes go play in the water by the river, of course, and sometimes we just take off our shoes and walk around in the water and stuff, and on stones around the river, like the rocks, the river rocks, the black ones, sometimes they're brown. You know what I'm talking about if you're from the villages, the rural areas. On the rocks, you'd find smashed eggs with a reddish, yellowish, or green wool around it, and sometimes you just find a boiled egg, and it's like it was hit with a rock, but it's still there. You can see that this egg was spoiled. But because we were kids back then, we just play around it and sometimes play with it because we knew nothing. We didn't know that there's are rituals and stuff. So today's confession, guys. Today's confession, guys. Shoo, shoo, kumanzi. It's hard. It's too much. A lot is happening in this world, guys. Today's confession, I'm gonna read it out loud now. I actually wanted to narrate it, but I'm scared of like missing those important details. So I am just gonna resort to reading it out loud so that I don't miss anything. Get yourself water, guys. Sit back and just listen to what happens. Emhlabeni, listen to what happens in the world. It reads as follows. Please make me anonymous. I would like to share my story to help other men. No, I'm reading the wrong one. What's happening? Okay, it says we use eggs to steal people's luck and stop their progress in life. Hmm. I hope I will find the help that I need here. I am a 26-year-old woman who's been doing evil for the past 16 years. 16 years, guys. 16 years. I wonder how many lives this girl has ruined. But we're not judging. We're not judging, and we're happy that she came forward. We're happy that she's finally here on this channel to seek help, and we hope she will find the help. It all started when I was 10 years old. I was visiting my aunt, and at night I started hearing strange noises. I tried ignoring the voices, but my hair kept on shivering, so I knew something was wrong. It was like there are many people having different conversation as if they are at some sort of gathering. Imagine you're sleeping and you hear and it's just busy in the house. Okay. I tried forcing myself to sleep, but the more I slept, the louder the voices got. I then decided to tiptoe to see what was happening. Bravery right there. The noise sounded like it was coming from the sitting and dining room. My aunt had a very big house, but she's never worked a day in her life. She only sells ice blocks to school kids, and she only sells when she's bored. It wasn't even an everyday thing. Also, she is someone who sleeps a lot during the day. If ever you go to her house during the day, you'll find her sleeping 95% of the time. As much as she was always sleeping, you'd never hear her complain about money. Money is something she always had, no matter what. She lived alone, but when she went grocery shopping, she would fill up her bakkie with bulk food. She bought so much food to feed, enough to feed the entire community, yet she lived alone. She lived a very comfortable and posh life. That made her everyone's favorite aunt, and we loved visiting her. Back to how I end up joining her dark world. The commotion that was happening that night in her house was a lot. I then decided to go see what was happening. As I stepped out of the room, I saw so many people from the corridor way all the way to the kitchen, dining room, and sitting room. The house was just packed. It was really a full house and it was quite busy. You know how the house is always packed and busy whenever there is a funeral at the house? That's how packed it was. But to my surprise, everyone there only had one eye. I tried going back to the room only to realize that the door was nowhere to be found. It was like there was never a door at all there. The people there all carried something on their head. Some were carrying kettles like boiling kettles, not kettles as in Zingoma, no. Some were carrying pots, plates, plastic mats, and so on. My aunt appeared from my bag and told me not to be scared. She told me to keep walking till the kitchen. I was terrified, but I walked slowly while I was trying not to bump into any of those weird looking people. When we got to the kitchen, I found about five elderly women dishing out in about 50 plates. Like there was just so many plates in the kitchen. Suddenly, everyone queued to get their food. Hey, this is so scary, guys. So, everybody queued to get their food. It was just busy, and if I did not have a heart attack that day, I'll never die from it. Suddenly, everyone was eating, and I realized that everyone there didn't have tongues. Now, when people were opening their mouth to put food in their mouth, I realized that there is zero tongues in their mouth. They ate like they haven't eaten in so long. There were crumbs everywhere. My aunt then told me that I have officially joined her and she is happy to share the gift with me. I was confused, but she told me to give it time because it's our generational inheritance. She said every generation in our family had the chosen aunt, and I was the new generation aunt. She then gave me a black rope and a very big needle and some red powders mixed with a bit of blackish. She ordered me to put them under my pillow when I go back to bed. The people then knelt down and started clapping hands and singing praises. I and my aunt were the only two standing people. I wish I could go deeper into detail, but I can't. My aunt was right about one thing though. Our family had a history of rich unemployed aunts who never had kids nor gotten married. Today, I am that aunt. Unemployed but rich is questionable, right? Well, the truth is, we are forced to steal people's luck and success with rituals. We use the egg ritual. We have a black chicken that's been there for many centuries and decades. That's what I've been told. We only use the eggs from that chicken. The chicken can spot luck and success on a person before the person even gets them. The chicken then lays an egg and it comes out written the person's name and surname. What we then need to do is make sure we get the person's DNA. It's very easy to get that. We make relationships with hairdressers, restaurant owners, and so forth. Any relevant establishment, we make relations with them so that we can get access to people around DNA. We hypnotize them, the owners that is, for easy access. When the target goes to their hair salon or to their restaurant or wherever, that's when we strike. At the salons, we get their hair. At the restaurant, we get their spoons or whatever they use to eat. Or sometimes, if these people are just indoor people who never goes anywhere, or they do their hair far, or they go to only restaurants that are very far, then we make sure we just get to them and hug them and kiss them as a form of greeting, and we are done with them. Even footprints works. There's so many ways around this. Then we take the egg and boil it together with the DNA and mix it with herbs to make the person's life as hard as the boiled egg. By boiling the egg, we have made their lives stagnant. Or we just perform a ritual on the egg, then smash it on the ground. By doing so, we have destroyed every good thing in that person's life. I am currently getting help from St. John's Church to release me from the dark world. It's hard as sometimes at night I get choked by things I can't see. I want to be a mother one day, and that is why I want none of this life anymore. Yes, I am rich. Yes, I have my own house and it's big. Yes, I have cars. But I don't know how I obtained all those things. It wasn't through sweats, it wasn't through hard work. It just happened. I do not want any of those. I choose having a baby over wealth. I am getting help, and I'm just here to warn people and to make them realize that when you come across an egg anywhere in the bushes, anywhere in the forest, anywhere in the street, just know that it is tied to somebody's destiny.